In the summer of 1944, as Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy, another battle was raging, hidden deep within the heart of France. This wasn't a battle fought in open fields or city streets. This was a war of shadows, waged on a formidable, natural fortress, the Vercors Plateau. This is the story of the men who became its ghosts. The Vercors, a rugged limestone massif in the French Alps, was a world unto itself. Its sheer cliffs and deep gorges made it nearly impenetrable. For the French resistance, it was the perfect place to build a hornet's nest. The plan was audacious: establish a free republic, an armed stronghold that could divert German troops and aid the Allied advance from the south. They called it the Free Republic of the Vercors. Men from all walks of life answered the call: students, farmers, poets, and soldiers who had escaped the fall of France in 1940. They were not a conventional army. They were the Maquis, named after the dense scrubland that gave them cover. Their leader, François Huet, a career military officer, saw the potential of this raw courage. He began to shape these passionate volunteers into a disciplined fighting force. Using the dense forests and hidden caves as their barracks, they trained relentlessly. They learned the art of guerrilla warfare, mastering the terrain that was both their sanctuary and their weapon. Every rock became a sniper's perch, every winding path a potential ambush site. They were preparing for a fight they knew was coming. The Germans couldn't ignore a rebel state growing in their backyard. Archival footage shows the spirit of these men. They shared meager rations, sang songs of a free France, and forged a brotherhood stronger than steel. They were united by a single, burning purpose: to reclaim their homeland. The Vercors was more than just a piece of land. It was a symbol. It was a declaration that even in the darkest hour, the spirit of France would not be extinguished. The signal came in June 1944, with the D-Day landings. The Maquis of the Vercors sprang into action. They sabotaged railway lines, blew up bridges, and ambushed German convoys, creating chaos behind enemy lines. For a few glorious weeks, the tricolor flag flew freely over the villages of the plateau. They expected Allied support. They had been promised weapons, supplies, and paratroopers to reinforce their position. Coded messages were sent, pleas for aid broadcast into the night. They scanned the skies, waiting for the parachutes that would bring them the tools they needed to hold their fortress. But the skies remained empty. The reasons are still debated by historians. Miscommunication, shifting strategic priorities, the sheer difficulty of an airborne operation into hostile territory. Whatever the cause, the result was the same. The men of the Vercors were on their own, and the Germans were coming. The Nazi response was swift and merciless. General Karl Pflaum was tasked with crushing the Vercors rebellion. He amassed a force of over 10,000 elite mountain troops and special units. They surrounded the plateau, cutting off all escape routes. The siege had begun. The ghosts of the Vercors were now trapped in their own fortress. The initial German assaults were repelled. The Maquis, using their intimate knowledge of the terrain, fought with incredible tenacity. They turned narrow mountain passes into killing fields, holding back veteran German soldiers with little more than courage and a few captured weapons. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they held their ground. But courage alone cannot stop an avalanche. The Germans, frustrated by their losses on the ground, unleashed a new, terrifying tactic. On July 21st, the sky over the Vercors filled not with Allied planes, but with German gliders. Elite SS paratroopers landed silently in the heart of the plateau. Behind the Maquis lines, The fortress had been breached from within. What followed was not a battle, but a slaughter. The resistance fighters were now caught in a pincer movement. Hunted from the cliffs and from the fields, they fought desperately, man to man, in the forests and villages they had sworn to protect. The fighting was brutal, house to house, tree to tree. The brotherhood forged in hope was now tested in the crucible of despair. The Germans showed no mercy. The village of Vercors, which had welcomed the resistance, was razed to the ground, the dream of a free republic drowned in blood. The survivors, scattered and broken, melted back into the mountains, becoming true ghosts. Haunted by what they had lost, it was a tactical defeat, a tragic chapter in the story of the French resistance. But was it a failure? In the immediate aftermath, it seemed so. A dream had been crushed. But the legacy of the Vercors is more complex than victory or defeat. The sheer audacity of their stand tied up thousands of German troops for weeks, troops that could have been used to fight the Allied advance. Their sacrifice, though costly, was not in vain. It contributed to the broader liberation of France just weeks later. Today, the Vercors Plateau is a place of serene beauty, but its scars remain. Memorials dot the landscape, silent testaments to the men who fought and died here. The necropolis of Vercors is a sobering reminder of the price of freedom. These men were not just soldiers, they were believers. They believed in a free France so fiercely that they were willing to build it themselves, stone by stone, on a remote mountain plateau, and defend it with their lives. Their story is a powerful lesson in courage against impossible odds. It reminds us that history is not only written by grand armies on famous battlefields, but also by small groups of determined individuals in forgotten places. The ghosts of the Vercors may have lost their battle, but their spirit of resistance, their brotherhood, and their ultimate sacrifice became a foundational story for modern France. A symbol of the unyielding will to be free. If this hidden story moved you, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More forgotten heroes are waiting to be remembered.